March the 16th. Yes, this is a Saturday, and a Saturday that it is. Thank you for staying tuned, tuning in every Saturday. Trust and believe. Lady 2GO and Brother Lawrence and special guests here today. We really appreciate your support and love that you show us by tuning in on your desktops, your laptops, your phones, your apps, wherever you are. I just appreciate the love 100% you guys show and give us every week right here at Win DC Radio on the 2GO show between the 3 and 5 hour. And like we always do, we always recap from Thursday. Was very experimental. We figured some things out about ourselves on our Thursday night karaoke live. Yeah, you know, we started out one way, but it ended up being a good night, you know. So with that being said, I want to give shouts out to the young artists who always shows us love and support on our Thursday night Star Connect. Reb the Dreamer. He's an African young rapper. And most of his music and raps be about his of the things that his country is going through now, because you know the different parties are at warfare over there in Africa and the grill. And so he you know, he comes and he raps and tells his story and sweats his poor heart out, and he performs and he does his thing, you know. And shout out to Reb the Dreamer, always coming out to the Star Connect Network at Bass Lounge that we do every Thursday. Brother Lance, you want to say something about that?
Oh, yeah. He always come out and do his thing. I told him, I said, man, you one of our #1 supporters. But he actually going to be on the show. I'm going to have him here the last Saturday in this month. So you can check out what he do. You know, he's a phenomenal writer. He actually produces his own tracks. Sometimes he reaches out to other people. And, you know, we just had a good night that night. It started out kind of slow. The DJ that we usually, use, we get there, he wasn't there. And we go up and try to hook the system up, get it going. You know how a lot of club owners or DJs, they rig the system, right? Do little things here and there that, so you can't get it up and running. So it's like, wow. And then we was sitting at the table, right, Kim? And you said, what did you say?
I said, nothing won't stop us, will never stop us. We can't stop. And then it hit the light bulb.
Boom. I took this jack cord out of the back of the thing he had running to the PA, and they got them power amps, right? Plugged straight up into the amps.
We was going it off our phone. Ow!
Boom! I believe one of the bartenders or someone there called him and was like, man, they got the system up and running. I don't know how they did it. Woo, woo, woo. Within like 15 minutes, he show up.
Yes,
so
yes.
Everything got back on track.
Yeah, that's why
little games people play here and
that's
there.
How the divine
and also the divine, like you said, and you know, people be trying to set you up for failure, but they just don't know. They be helping you to be successful in your own right, because like I said, within the divine nature, it was meant to us to find another way to do that without his equipment.
Right.
So when he walked in, he was looking around like, damn, how they set that up? He was shocked, you know. So then he gonna get on the mic and DJ and say, shouts out to DJ Paradise. You know what I'm saying? We ain't throwing no shade on the brother. We just letting you know, thank you for giving us some skills to use our brain, you know, at a spare moment of time. But he came in there and he did his thing. You know, he picked up the slack. But other than that, yeah, we had a good Thursday night. And even before then, in band practice, if you guys, we've been telling you about the shows coming up for the music group. We are giving our first debut band concert tonight. It will be at the Bass Lounge, 5451 Annapolis Road, Maryland. It starts at 9 o'clock, $10 the entry. Come out and see me and Brother Lawrence in a different light. you're going to see him. He not going to be Brother Lawrence. He going to be Ghost. You know what I'm saying? Hitting on them skins and them cymbals. You know what I'm saying? He going to be Ghost in his element, and I'm going to be Camille. I'm not going to be Lady 2GO. I'm going to be Camille. I'm going to be in my other art form. So come on out. Check us out. $10.
Try to get there early.
Yeah, get there early. Yeah, the later you get there, the price might change. Or the door is not it's our house, but it's not our show. We're just a performing band that was requested to perform on that venue of this promoter. So it is our house, but it's not our house tonight. So, you know, we got every last Saturday. That's our house at the Bass Lounge. So don't get it twisted. But so also, April the 3rd, the music group will be at the Hangers Club. We'll be supporting under the promotion of the Urban Hangers Social Society Group. They're throwing their thing April the 3rd, which is featuring myself and Ghost and Camille. In our art form, we'll be performing as the music group there also. And then
QB and what's the name of her band? You know, QB, we had her on the show. She got a band.
Okay, so they're joining us that night?
Yeah, they open up. We had 2 bands opening up. I got the flyer in my phone.
Oh, for the April the 3rd joint?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so hey, so you getting 3 for the price of 1. Come on out to the Hangers Club. You know what I'm saying? April the 3rd, 2019. Starts at 8 o'clock. I believe it's $10. It's $10 as well. Yeah. So the music group will be there. Some other bands. One of our guests that was on the show earlier this year, earlier 2018. So come on out, see QB and her band.
QB and the Co-Conspiracy.
QB and the Co-Conspiracy band, they're going to be there. The music group is being Brother Lawrence's band is going to be there. April the 3rd, 2019, right at the Hangers Club off of Old Branch Avenue, and I believe that's Temple Hills, Maryland, correct?
Yeah, Old Branch Avenue.
Old Branch Avenue. And with that being said, Clinton, okay. And then also, the last Saturday of April the 27th is our house at the Bass Lounge again, where we'll be doing this poster right here, celebrating these honorees of these bros being in this business for 40 years, you know what I'm saying? That's some work, you know what I'm saying? Go from band to band, attitude to attitude, personality to personality, from spiritual, emotional. I mean, it's a lot in 40 years you can do. And when you're going from band to band, and this brother been holding it down, and we're going to be honoring 2 other brothers that's part of the music group band as well, which is Dwayne Briscoe as well as Billy Jones. And y'all know Go Billy. That's right. And he's still in the game. That's right, doing his thing at his age. I say we the new 50s. You know what I'm saying? We ain't sitting down till y'all say, okay, it's time for y'all to take a break when somebody else be to take the baton on. But with that being said, and I'm just so glad, and I'm just honored that we have this legend to my right here. Right here. That's right.
Yep.
That's
Living
right.
legend.
Living legend. You know we like to bring him to you here.
And he also making history as he ain't done yet. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. You know we bring you nothing but the best, you know, in this business. So he's topping our list that we have of our guests. And Mr. Swamp Guinee, and he's here to tell us his story, his journey, and also he blessed us with the CD that we're going to be playing out throughout the hour. I'm not going to get into him, dive into him, slice him up yet. We're going to give him a little time. We're going to play a couple of tracks, and then we're going to come back with some questions and get some juice. So don't sleep. We'll be right back.
Calls us in our dreams. It calls us in our schemes. As we hear the drum, we know where we come from. It's in our head. when he birthed. His name was written on their heart. And they knew right from the start. The earth loves you. Listen to your heart, and you know what to do. Feed the baby. Respect the mother. Help the tribe, and you help others. His Majesty, he still lives to reign. Word is power. The world is insane. Out of touch with what's really real. It's burned out, it's sold out. That's just part of the deal. To keep you ignorant, deaf and blind. Drowning in your things, but one day you'll find it's all for nothing until you know. Humble, surrender, and go with the flow. His Majesty is the King.
Initiated by hazing the uneducated, switching big tactics on the incarcerated. Promises, picket fences, get emancipated. Some folks just can't understand just why the youth are jaded. Some folks just can't understand never jaded. 'Cause we are born again, just like the sun, the youth are rising. These are the seeds that we have planted, taking root and giving life again. In the land of the free, home of the brave, the many enslaved, the minimum wage, lost in the days of so much false pretense. Some months of it, so we erase the truth is an offense. Many you find guilty are truly innocent. So stop blaming the youth for the ignorance. Show them the goodness of your heart and it will ricochet. We are the youth of yesterday, it's time we make a way. We are the youth of yesterday, and now we're born again. Just like the sun, the youth are rising. These are the seeds that we have planted, taking root and giving life again. In the land of the free, home of the brave, so many enslaved for minimum wage, lost in the days of so much false pretense. Some months have been so erased, the truth is an offense. Many you find guilty are truly innocent. So stop blaming the youth for the ignorance. Show them the goodness of your heart and it will ricochet. We are the youth of yesterday, it's time we make a way. We are the youth of yesterday, and now we're born again. Just like the sun, the youth are rising. These are the seeds that we have planted, taking root and giving life again. Can't you give it life again? Giving life again, just like the sun, giving life rising. These are the seeds that we have planted, giving life again, roots and giving life again. We're giving life again, giving life again, giving life again.
Yes, yes, right here, right here, right here, and accompanied by some other greats that you guys heard on the track. Tell us something about those two tracks we just heard. The first one was,
The first track was Dreamin'.
okay,
And that track is by an artist by the name of Tough Lion, who's now he's legendary. Tough Lion is he's actually a reggae artist. He's a reggae guitarist. He's like the reggae George Benson.
okay,
Dude is incredible, but he's also an insane vocalist as well. I mean, you could listen to him and you can tell that he comes from the doo-wop tradition. You know,
Okay.
He's a multi-layered musician and artist. Plays every instrument. Incredible. So that was actually an original song that he did, and I remixed it and redid it, and I brought in another legend, an urban griot, spoken word artist, actor, storyteller, his brother by the name of Tom Workman. So that's who's doing the spoken word on that piece.
Okay.
That song is pretty much about the repatriation back to Africa, not necessarily physically, but in our minds, in our hearts, and our spirit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A lot of us don't have the opportunity to go back physically, but we're still Africa is ever present in within us. And so basically that's what that song is about. When he's saying dreaming, he's saying this is the dream, you know, and it's about repatriation. The second song, Born Again, the vocalist is also a reggae artist as well. I play a lot of reggae as well, so that's why I just, you know, I play all different styles of music, but reggae is another genre that I pretty much play in. So this album, I brought different people in from the different avenues of music that I play with. So this artist is, her name is Isla Vibes, or Isla Benjamin. And she's just a beautiful spirit, beautiful mother, beautiful teacher, daughter. She's like my sister. She has a band, Isla Vibes, that I play drums in. And she did this song one day in rehearsal and said, I want y'all to learn this song. And I started playing a little go-go socket beat to it, you know, as a joke. And we started laughing. She started laughing, and she was like, yeah, I really like that. You know, let's play it like that. I said, yeah, okay. I'm going to put that song on my album. Watch. And so she didn't believe me, but it was when it was time to get ready with recording it, you know, I said, okay, we going in. we going to do this.
It sounds good, too.
Thank you. So we did it. I brought in the musicians to play on it. That song is basically, it's a song of hope. You know, to offer the youth of our culture, DC culture in particular. Those of us that grew up here know that, you know, we tend to get a bad rep sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, growing up in the inner cities in DC, you know.
And dims the light on even the ones that's not even creators of that element, you know.
Exactly. And so that song offers hope, and it's basically assuring the people that, you know, our youth are rising up. You know, there's a new movement that's going on, and these youth are part of it. So don't for once think that it's all about, you know, robbing and all of that kind of stuff. You know, you hear about that side on the news, but there's this other side of true spiritual elevation that's taking place in our DC culture with our youth.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, because a lot of them are being elevated. I was just sharing with Brother Lawrence about this young lady that I had experience 27 alumni from Howard University. Dr. Muhammad, matter of fact, her card is right here. Dr. Boya Muhammad, PhD. Girl, only 28 years old. She's ran a week-long. I'm going to have her to come in when I come back. She does inner city youth, and her message is, her Trayon camp is called Facing Gun Violence. Mm-hmm. And I mean, she's starting at, I saw her interviewed just this past week, starting at 7 and 8 year old. Mm-hmm. And I had one 7-year-old in that whole class. He ran underneath the table. He refused to hear the word gun violence. He was like this under the table. So I ran over and I told him, I said, look, come on. Even though you might not want to hear the gun violence, tell us why you don't want to hear it.
Right.
Express why you don't like this word. Tell us why this word make you feel like you want to run underneath the table.
Right.
And I'm telling you, our kids, our babies, over in those areas like Ward 8, my area where I live at, which is just beyond here, you're so right. It's so much hopeless that we have to, but it is some hopefuls. Like I just gave this young 28-year-old. She's took like 7 kids from Howard, from the sophomore, junior years, and it was like they all came over to Ward 8, to this community center, and they was feeding the kids and talking to them about how to deal with gun violence, because that's where a lot of our kids now are growing up with post-traumatic stress syndrome, because they're in these gunshots, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, the 8-year-old said he had to go inside to she said, how do you handle when you hear the gunshots? I run in the house. Then she said, what you do then? He said, I turn on my game and play it real loud.
Yeah. I mean, tell me about it. I manage a youth program in Ward 7 and in Ward 8.
Oh, okay. We're going to get that juice too. Okay.
Yeah.
Another black nonprofit organization.
Yeah, this is the work that, well, it's not my own. I work for a nonprofit,
okay.
but this is the work that I've been doing for years. Mm-hmm. And so I do understand the need for
these messages.
I understand. Yeah. I mean, the program that I work for now, the 10-year-old girl that was murdered last July, Micaiah Wilson, was a part of that program.
Oh,
and so I'm over in the Clay Terrace, Lincoln Heights area.
Okay.
Richardson Dwellings. And so, there's still that tension in the air surrounding that.
It is.
So, my job is to really get over there and to try to be as much of a part of the transformation that needs to take place. And they're so used to seeing things negatively,
right?
And they just need to see that they are a reflection of
good,
all things positive.
Yeah, right.
And so that's kind of one of the things that I'm working on. It's a challenge, but I'm committed to it because this is, hey, I can't throw no stones at these kids out here because I was out there too.
Exactly. It's like looking backwards in the mirror.
I can't throw no stones.
Exactly.
But I know the things that actually saved my life.
Correct.
And so I want to be a part of that transformation. And I'm so passionate about the youth and our culture in general because we have a very unique culture here.
Yes, we do.
Talented. I mean? We could have, God could have put us anywhere. He could have put us in Cricket Creek, South Dakota. Okay. Nothing wrong with Cricket Creek, South Dakota. I'm not, but we were born right here in this area. And this area is very unique, man. We have, there's some history and some deep rooted culture with this.
It is.
And so,
I can't wait to get warm to walk bare feet outside on the earth.
I walk in the cold. Stop me.
Yeah, so we just need to really see that that we do have something unique here and be a part of that cultural pride that needs to take place.
And then it doesn't hurt to say that when you can give back, what ain't that this feeling when you give back in your music, when you give back into the organizations that you come involved with, it's nothing where you can use that costs you nothing to give back. Just like that song, the second song that you was explaining about being hopeful.
Right.
When you can give back that in that magnitude of kind of way, how do that make you? I know it's like a high that's.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because, giving back to me is more like I'm more into the receiving part of it because, for example, I was running a drumming program at the Youth Correctional Facility, New Beginnings, formerly Oak Hill.
Ooh.
And this was, maybe about 6, 7 or so years ago, 2013, 14, 15.
I seen some pictures of when you was standing in front of some kids with the drums.
Yeah, I don't have any pictures of the New Beginnings because it's incarcerated. You can't because they're incarcerated. You can't take pictures.
Right.
But that was an incredible program because, go-go music, for example, the rhythm of it has evolved in so many different ways, shapes, forms, or fashions. And I hear a lot of the older cats talk about how much they don't like the bounce beat, and they don't like the new evolution of it. And so I'm doing a drum program over here with these youth, and that's all they know. June, chaco, ju, ka, ju, chaco, ju, and these youth never played a drum or percussion before a day in their life. But you put these instruments in front of them, and you show them the mechanics of it, and watch what they do, which is amazing. That's pure.
To me, I always say that's the spirit.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting to. That's exactly what it is. And so, me seeing that, I'm saying, well, you know what? I'm gonna do a tune with a bounce beat. So Dreaming, the very first song that you heard, kind of has that more of a slower type of bounce beat flavor to it.
Right.
Minus the rototoms, I just put a djembe in there, but it's that's what it is.
That's why I got
And-
that war feeling sounding.
Right.
Okay.
And so it was the youth at the New Beginnings Correctional Facility that inspired me to do that in that rhythm. So that's what I'm
Wow.
talking about. When I'm talking about receiving, there's so much that you can get, even more so than give. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my approach is like, look, I'm here to teach and to share, but I'm also here to learn.
Right.
You guys have your eyes and ears a lot closer to the street than I do. I'm 50 years old. You know, I mean, I'm
56.
all right, you looking good, boy.
Thank you.
And so, you know, just opening myself up to be able to receive all of the things that these youth really do have to offer, because they do know a lot, and they can share. And we just have to be their ears.
Yeah,
you know.
and a lot what I've learned too, instead of and we a lot a lot of the youth complain that we don't listen, and
Right.
that's what we
Exactly.
as the wisers, we have to, even though we may think they're coming to us with some nonsense, but you can't judge that all the time.
Nah.
We got to give them that second, that moment, just to give them just a minute to hear what they're saying.
Right.
You know, to let them know that we at
Exactly.
least being,
Exactly.
responsive to hearing their voice, because a lot of them don't like dealing with it, because they first thing they think, oh, she gonna shoot it down.
Exactly.
Or
They-
she ain't
that's what
gonna
they
be
used to.
Yeah, they
That's
so
what they
used to
used to.
that.
Yeah.
Right. So, not only in growing up in their own molding in their own family habitat, but as they got out into schools, same discipline got into the school structure. Oh, that's not what's right. Don't
Right.
say that. You can't say that. So we gotta give that ear a moment to give them babies, to let them tell their story.
Exactly.
If it's not for just maybe a couple of seconds, let them get it out.
Exactly.
Because we'll never know who could be talking to. We could be talking to our next president.
Exactly.
So with that being said, all right, about the first two songs, we're gonna jump back a little further than that. So, what really got you driven to expressing yourself musically? How young were you when you first started?
I came out the womb playing pots and pans.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, for as long as I can remember, I have great uncles. My family's from South Carolina,
Okay.
rural South Carolina. We got a farm down there, a very large farm, and I got uncles and aunts, church-going folks, and sang on the choir, things
South
like that.
Kakalaki.
And so, just growing up, seeing a lot of that, being around it, singing on the church choir here myself, all of those things, I don't do anymore, but it reared me. It helped to really give me that inspiration. And so, and then my mother and my father, good Lord, I mean, they, had the music collection of life, and me and my brother. Ooh, me and my brother, I mean, growing up in the
That vinyl
70s,
was-
people don't know what it was like growing up in the 70s. Woo, Lord, there will never be another time. But growing up in the 70s, you absorb so much just good music. Even the stuff that they played on the radio, the underground stuff that they played on the radio was so good and so unique. So we absorbed a lot of that.
And not even just the underground. I mean, because I was getting in my ear, my household, my mom was playing Fleetwood Mac,
Yeah.
Steve McQueen.
Well, yeah.
The Sunshine
Yeah.
Band, Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yeah.
I was getting
Hendrix,
crossover.
the whole nine.
Yeah,
We had
all that
that.
crossover flavor.
We had all of that, and so
Pink Floyd,
all of that, all of that
Yeah.
good stuff. And so all of those influences come into play. And then I think for me, just kind of as I got older, there was this thing that hit the streets of DC called go-go. And because it was such a street influenced, even though you had Chuck Brown and all those guys, but
They
because
say
it was,
Chuck brought it from North Carolina.
he brought it
That's
from
what they
North
say.
Carolina, yeah. So but there's other influences in
Yeah,
there too,
of course, yeah.
But that being the rhythm of the street, you absorb a lot of that, and we just flocked to this thing. And because the percussion was heavy, I actually started out as a guitar player. My mother bought me a
Oh.
guitar when I was 11 or 12, electric guitar. My brother had the drum set, so we would be in our basement, And by this time, we had moved over to a neighborhood called Trinidad. Grew up.
You was on my block and I ain't know it.
Grew up.
1139 Moore Street.
1657 11 place.
All right.
Next door to me. That's where I'm
okay.
Next door. But before that, we grew up in Sursum Quarter. You know?
Okay, yeah.
And then we moved from there. We lived in Tyler House, but our babysitter, we went to a school over there, moved to Trinidad, and this go-go thing is hitting the street, and that's what you hear. And you know, we put together a little band and everything, and I'm trying to play guitar, you know, but I had my rhythm, but I didn't have my chords down. Okay. And it wasn't until later on that I realized that I wasn't much of a guitar player. Okay. But I was playing in these bands and I was playing guitar, and I used to always have to turn around and tell the drummer and the percussionist kind of to not what to play or how, but like you're not playing it the right way. And I have to show them. And I'm scratching my head like, how am I getting that? But I can't get this guitar thing, right. You know. And, you know, it just kind of stuck. You know, it just kind of stuck to the point that, you know, once I got old, a little older, like late teens, I got really good at playing congas. Really good, because that's all I listened to. I studied Jungle Boogie. I studied all of the greats, you know. Right. And I got really, really good. And so I was going to Duke Ellington, and then I went over. I got transferred
Everybody got a little spice
to McKinley.
From Duke.
You got, you
Come
know,
on,
I went to
you
McKinley,
I'm
and
a tech guy.
I went to
McKinley.
I got to McKinley, and we put together a little band and everything. But it was a bunch of guys just like myself that had got kicked out of Duke Ellington and ended up at McKinley.
That's how everybody ended up
had
doing.
A band. Mm-hmm. We put together a band, and you know, I was playing congas and percussion.
What was the name of the band?
Oh man, I can't even. Stebbins, because we had a guy named Anthony Stebbins who was like trumpet player and the lead talker. Okay. So I think we named the band after him or something like that. Okay. But then we had a side band, Perfection was the name of our band, and we just did a lot of practicing. We had a few gigs that we played out in Frederick, Maryland. Okay. But you know, because these were all musicians from Ellington, and we were playing a lot of music. We wasn't really a heavy pocket-driven band.
Right.
We played a lot of music.
Well, back then, that's where everybody started into being just musicians.
Yeah. And so my best friend and keyboard player of the band at the time, his uncle is the great Louis Oxley. Ooh, so okay. Louis Oxley from Chuck Brown and the Soul Searchers, and Louis was like my uncle, you know. Okay. So I grew up being around Louis and being inspired by Louis and everything. So that was that whole thing, you know. And, but yeah, it was such a unique time. You know, I remember those days living in Trinidad, and we practice, you know, practice in my basement, you know, and sometimes, you know, I don't know who it was, but whoever was my next door neighbor, you know, didn't even play drums, but had a boyfriend that played drums for this band called Petworth, you know, and the dude would be down there playing his drum. We could hear him. The walls was real thin. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Ghost, y'all.
Yeah, the one and only.
We would hear him next door playing his drums.
Merlin,
and see how the story
What's up,
started
Merlin?
out?
How you doing?
See how he started the story? In a ghostly fashion. He heard it from afar.
I heard it from afar.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, man, what? This dude. And he didn't have a band. He was next door practicing by himself. And they must have let you bring your drum kit over there or something and practice or something.
They heard about me from Chaos. I used to be in Chaos.
Okay. But yeah, he came over there, and we knew who he was. Right. You know, he was much larger than, I mean, we were like little peons, you know. So he was much larger. So, you know, and so the Davises, my next door neighbors.
He tricked me because when we was talking on the phone, I didn't know this, right, at the time, but he laid up to it, right? Because I knew him and his brother, but I didn't know this was Swamp that I was talking to on the phone when we was talking about, you know, coming to the show, right? And I was like, what?
Yeah. Got him real good.
He got me that time. She was trying to get me a couple of times with people that I know from the past. Yeah. But she ended up telling me.
Well, I mean, I just had to segue it real sweet like that, you know. Yeah. But you also are part of that that inspiration. You know,
Wow.
whether you know it or
That's-
not, you're
that's
part. You
wow.
fit in there. So as many
That's-
people
ooh,
like
that's
yourself
homage, bruh.
that
That's
fit into that whole
Wow,
realm
that's
of
great.
inspiration and influences. You know, to myself and to a lot of other
Appreciate
people.
that.
You know,
Yes, you
yeah.
are.
Because when we was
appreciate it.
actually doing it, we was like having fun. We enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
And before the time slip away, before we get in the second set, I'm just looking at this album cover, right? And I'm the kind of person that, you know, I read a lot into stuff a lot of times. But yeah, this is tight. He got the
Appreciate it.
Explain it to me first. You know,
Okay.
from the whole
You might
the
wanna
whole
show-
nine.
yeah,
Well, first of all, I'm such a throwback. You know, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and I still collect vinyl. I collect records to this day.
Oh, for real?
I got a nasty record
I
collection.
got a few, but I don't.
I
listen
got
to
some
them.
bangers,
I need
bro.
to get-
I got some serious stuff.
Okay.
But I'm just a fan of still, you know, that, and I know we're all in the digital and all of that kind of stuff and everything, you know, download and all that kind of stuff. But it's nothing to me. There's nothing like holding something in your hand.
I know it.
It's
Because
science
it makes you,
behind it.
it
A
makes
part
you,
of it,
It
like
makes you
you-
appreciate the music all the more. When I would go and
To
shop
have it right there in your
for
hands.
records or
Oh,
CDs,
man.
even CDs, you know, and I hold it in my hand before I can even listen to the music.
Right.
And I'm looking, I'm
CD
just looking at the art.
The cover tell a story.
Woo, I'm
You
looking at the
understand what I'm
art,
saying?
you know. I'm looking at the art, and the art is just popping out. And then when I put that thing in there and I listen to it, it just takes me deeper. And,
Right.
and
So
so
it's visually.
I wanted to have that same type of concept with this album cover, and I thought about what would represent this project, what would represent this music. And so I came up with the concept of, you know, because we already had decided that we were going to name the album "Born Again," which was after Isla's song. But I wanted to create something that really showed that. And so, you know, me being a conga player and a percussionist, you know, and I wanted birth. I wanted birth.
Right.
But I didn't want birth coming from. I wanted birth coming from the drum.
Right.
You know. So I said, yeah, I want a drum, and the drum is giving birth to a person, you know, and they're sort of descending back to DC land. So that's why you see the map. That's why you see the map in the background.
And
you
then
know.
you got the fire in there.
And you got the fire, because the fire, I mean, it's hot. That birth is real hot, you know.
Right.
And so it's
You're gonna
it's
release the
blazing.
fire.
Send
right.
The pain
Yeah.
coming out like
Yeah.
birth.
Yeah,
like
so
giving birth.
I'm not an artist, so I had to figure out, okay, who am I gonna get to create this thing? So I shared the concept with a good brother of mine, and he did the first draft, and he came back and he did the draft, and he had the birth, but it was the drum was a djembe, and I didn't really want a djembe because although, I mean, I play a little djembe, I'm not really a djembe player, but I play a djembe. It's beautiful African drum, but I really feel that go-go is more connected to the Congo piece,
Right.
you know, especially with the
That
band.
fire.
Yeah,
and,
you know, I really felt that.
the
I mean,
elements. It looks like you included light of the elements of and.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's the djembe too. Is, you know, it all comes from there. But I felt like the Congo was more of our drum, you know, because of where it comes from and the sounds and how it's connected to this particular type of music. And so the brother, he was busy doing some stuff, and then a good friend of mine who's like another sister, her name is Rosille, and Rosille, who's a dynamite artist, she's big time. She's gotten some success in Japan. I mean, she's been all over the place, you know. If you check out Rosille Brown, you can find her.
Okay.
But she, you know, from here, you know, go-go culture all the way. And so she says, you know, I could do this for you. So I said, okay. So she actually painted that image.
Oh, okay.
She painted the image. And then once she painted it, we scanned it and then put it on graphics, and we kind of tweaked it a little bit and got the font and everything and put the font in there. But that painting was her painting.
Oh wow.
Okay, and
That's
the-
an actual painting.
The brick wall.
So the brick
God
wall,
just
the
threw it
brick
in there
wall,
with-
the
The
brick
white
wall,
brick
the brick
wall.
wall,
It's
we
white.
the brick wall, we threw that in there with the graphics because I wanted that to be
Concrete
right. I
jungle
wanted,
part
yeah,
effect,
I wanted
yeah.
that to be like hieroglyphics.
Okay.
You know, when all else is said, because, you know, I mean, we're gentrifying. You know, a lot of us are being kind of.
You ain't got your brick from Search and Corner.
He got exactly. See,
You know what I'm saying?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So
Uh-huh.
we're still on this
Grounded.
grid. We're still grounded, and that's what that's all about.
That's what's
Yeah.
up. That's
And I'm
what's up.
gonna say something about the brick thing from Search and Corner and what I believe in as far as energy. That brick from Search and Corner, you know, I grew up around there, and they justify they tearing places down and all that. Energy is in that brick. You understand what I'm
telling?
saying? A lot of
Who you
people are
telling?
not really
Who
into
you
that.
telling?
You understand what I'm saying?
All them times and corners you been around the corner 5 o'clock in the morning.
So with that being said, even when it come down to when we say the album covers and you play the actually vinyl, the music, the frequencies is more realer than
It
playing
is.
it off a digital
Woo!
CD. You
Man,
understand what I'm
see,
saying?
you speaking my language,
But
man.
then you get a little deeper than that. The album cover is black,
Right,
right? Melanin.
right.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's energy
and,
too.
And then when you get into magic, right? Even the words say, "Out of the darkness came to what?"
Came to light.
You
of
understand what I'm
course.
saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just sit back a lot of times and I just ponder over different things, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
just be tripping myself out. But that's why when I looked at this, I said, this look like an album cover. This don't even look like a CD cover.
Thank you.
And then
I'm
I
glad
seen them.
picked
You
up on
understand what
that.
I'm saying?
So glad you picked up on
Yeah,
that.
and
that's-
so just the cover, you know, that's a piece of work in itself.
Yeah.
You know, and it's good, high quality work. And
If
you
you-
know,
and if
and
you-
you setting trends right now.
Yes, you are.
You
I
you
don't know
understand what
about
I'm
that
saying?
because
Yes, you are.
I'm just really trying to follow trends that people
check
put out
this out.
before us. You
But
know?
a lot
But-
of this is what you would call like what I tell people, going back to your basics. Because
Right.
you ain't got all that computerized, all that
and-
interference from technology.
Right.
It's
And then
it's
you look
plain,
at this.
but it's not plain. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
It's like self-explanatory.
To me,
right.
to me, to be honest with you, this right here, that art, what that lady did, came from you manifested this because you thought it, and you had an artist bring it out. But just check this out. I ain't never see anything in the world being born. You know, this right here, being born from a drum.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So you can look at it and say, "Oh, that's nice," and throw it to the side, or
Nah,
you
but
can
it's
look
a
at
whole
it and
different
see what it's really
story,
saying.
right.
You know, so and if somebody use it again, or if you see it somewhere else, you know, you birthed this. This came
Yeah.
out of you. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's
I'm,
what's up.
I'm just
Especially the DC part with the water,
Yeah.
the river, man. That
Even-
was the graphics. That's like I said, it's a story you could just get from this. Like we just talked, we just told the whole movie off of the cover. You know what I'm saying? So
soundtrack right
okay,
there. They're gonna soundtrack.
movie coming out of being birthed from a Congo into the Go-Go of DC.
Yes.
That's gonna
Yeah,
be the
so
movie.
that's what
Yeah,
it was
we just
about.
talked up a script.
and-
So
and-
Spike Lee.
Holla at me.
Okay.
And then one more thing before we go, we used to go on break like at the top of the hour. Okay, the name, the Congo.
Okay.
Okay, drop
Okay.
some, you know, where that come from, and
Okay. Crank, of course, as we all know, is a word that how we use it in DC culture. It's a word that generally describes the energy. You know, when a band is playing or when the music is going on, and it's, you know, there's a certain energy that you're feeling with this music.
Exactly.
And so you say, oh, that's cranking, you know. So crank describes an energy. It describes elevation
right.
of energy, you know.
And like I said, because people outside of this community probably wouldn't know. So man, they say how the band was. Man, they was cranking.
Right.
And that sums the whole thing up right there. But somebody that's not from here,
And
be
for,
like,
and for
Exactly.
you millenniums, it's the same thing as lit. For us, crank is our crank. It's like y'all lit is y'all
Right,
lit.
right.
Y'all get lit, we got crank.
Right, we got
So,
crank.
Yeah.
So yeah, crank describes that elevation of the energy. And Lukongo is a key Congo word that it means liberty, and that comes from in the late 16th century here in the States. In South Carolina, there was a rebellion that took place with the slaves, and they had an insurrection, and you know, these Africans came from different ethnic groups. They didn't speak the same languages. Some were Yoruba, some were Igbo, some were Fulani, Wolof. They came from West Africa, but they didn't all speak the same language.
Okay.
The one language that they did share in common was a Kikongo word called Lukongo, meaning liberty.
You see what I'm saying? You teaching.
So when it was time to bust off, and bust heads,
they beat them drums.
Lukongo. I'm glad you said beat the drums too, because the colonial assemblies at the time in several of the colonies, they had passed these laws forbidding the use of all hand drums. If you got caught making a drum, if you got caught playing a drum, they would chop your hands off.
Yeah, because we had messages through
exactly, it's a language. So what good is a slave with no hands, you know?
Correct.
So they would chop your hands off because like you said, those were languages that they didn't understand.
Right.
That the opposition, the slave owners, the Europeans, they didn't understand that language. And so they passed these laws saying, yo, now them people, they can't play these drums. And so when they would have the insurrections, the drums would break out and they would start chanting Lukongo, meaning liberty.
Right.
So we have crank liberty. We're elevating the liberty. Again, it's like born again.
Okay, cool.
You know, that's what it is.
So
born
that whole
again
project, you teaching even before they take the album out. And then,
Yes, man.
I don't even know we have enough time because like when you open it up, bam, you see what I'm saying? So
I took that picture, by the way.
Okay.
That picture, I took that at Columbia Heights subway station.
Okay, that's it. When I said I seen the little kids,
Yeah.
I thought you was talking about this, but that was that old kid when you was talking about earlier.
Right. That's at Columbia Heights Metro Station. And many people that have seen that picture, you know what they said to me?
Well,
oh man, I thought that was somewhere in Africa.
That's the first thing I thought looked like it.
That's here.
but
That's
you know
here.
what?
You caught the Eskins. Yep. You caught. I guess you caught the essence of our people.
And this the funny thing is, we here in America, right? We here in America, but we beating on drum congos. People love this actually go-go music, but it's just like when we was in Africa beating on drums and they was dancing stuff. It's just here mic down congos, and them beats they playing, we feel it. It's probably might be something in our subconscious, whatever, that we relating to, but you know we love it, and it's what been 500 years later.
Man, you go anywhere throughout the African diaspora, and guess what? They're all doing the same thing.
Exactly.
You go to Cuba, they got rumba. You go to Brazil, they got samba.
I went to
you
Jamaica.
You go to Haiti, they got arara. You go to Jamaica, they got jucano and cumbia. I mean, you go anywhere, it's the same thing. And it's just something that's embedded in the people throughout throughout the diaspora.
Backyard and Team Familia, they just went to Africa.
Exactly.
And they got there because some of the kings heard the music when they was here.
Exactly.
And the Congos, they was like, what's this? You know, and they invited them over, so yeah.
Yeah, and the unique thing about it was that they heard it, but they also heard something different. They heard a unique, because we have that line, but we have something that's a little different too. You know?
We put that twist on it.
So they heard that, and so Backyard and Team Familia was blessed to have those experiences to go over, and I say it again, congratulations to those brothers for having that experience and for representing us that way.
That's
you know?
right.
And I look forward to doing the same thing.
Yes.
You know?
Traveling from this. Exactly.
And what you doing here, and how I see you, he's playing at the Kennedy Center. I mean, all over people getting them. It's just a matter of time. But all you got to do is just speak it.
I'm speaking it. I mean, I've traveled all over the world playing music, but I want to I'm going to make it. I mean, I've gotten offers. I've already gotten offers. But of course, you know, it's the timing's got to be right. The money's got to be right.
Everything
got to
be in place.
We've gotten offers already.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, the plans are in play right now, so it's gonna happen.
With that being said, we're gonna come right back and get some more juice and some more. We got educated up in here about the crank and the Congo. Yeah. It's the liberty. That's right. Lift up, reborn. So don't sleep.
got a feeling I wanna grab it. It's something I can't see. I gotta feel alive, but they won't let me have it. They just won't let me be. I see the plans are ready for the revolution. People prepare for victory. And when the war is over, no more confusion. All people will be free. Now I can feel safe in knowing my Father will make our way for His children. We are the lucky ones forevermore. We will be as one. I know something a lesson taught me, something we must overstand to make the most of life after the revolution. Oh, we gotta have a plan. If you know your history, you can build a nation the way we used to be. When will we open our eyes to this revelation? One love, one identity. Yeah. Now I can feel safe in knowing my Father will make our way for His children. We are the lucky ones forevermore. We will be as one. Now I can feel safe in knowing my Father will make our way for His children. We are the lucky ones forevermore. We will be as one. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? When the revolution comes, baby. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Yeah, babe. When the revolution comes, when the revolution, what you gonna do? When they come for you, you better change your view, adjust your attitude. And when it's said and done, yeah, I'm gonna live like one. Get together and have some fun underneath the sun. Yeah. What you gonna do, baby?
everybody's talking about those redskins, but they don't give a damn about them Anacostians who bred and bled for the spirit of this land. Now we gotta teach them about the shoulders where we stand on. But they don't give a damn about them Anacostians who bred and bled for the spirit of this land. Now we gotta teach them about the shoulders where we stand. See, everybody's talking about those redskins, but they don't give a damn about them Anacostians who bred and bled for the spirit of this land. Now we gotta teach them about the shoulders that we stand on. With no regard for existing rules, 'cause they were shaking hands, spreading diseases, ethnic cleansing in the name of Jesus. Campground came down while the wigwams burned. On fertile ground is where the tables got turned. So the mission to penetrate thoughts confirmed, overturn, eradicate, dissipate the native son. See, everybody's talking about those redskins, but they don't give a damn about them Anacostians who bred and bled for the spirit of this land. Now we gotta teach them about the shoulders where we stand. See, everybody's talking about those redskins, but they don't give a damn about them Anacostians who bred and bled for the spirit of this land. Now we gotta teach them about the shoulders that we stand on. Now the new hippies are singing the freedom songs of yesterday, because adaptation is expected of the stick and stay. Yet I hear the drums reclaim what was, what used to be. You see, your manifest destiny means nothing to me. And those are big chairs sits on buried cornfields. Those spirits beckon to remain. So history repeats. So we're keeping our war shields. For as long as the sun rises and the river flows, we shall remain. See, everybody's talking about those red skins, but they don't give a damn about the Anacostia who spread their legs for the spirit of this land. Now we gotta teach them about the shoulders where we stand. See, everybody's talking about those red skins, but they don't give a damn about the Anacostia who spread their legs for the spirit of this land. Now we gotta teach them about the shoulders that we stand on.
To be played continues on this track of the CD. You see me passed around and getting the story off of this cover and the inside and getting educated. The first one and the second half.
Yeah, the first one, that was After the Revolution.
Okay.
And that song was by a singer-songwriter by the name of Dave Blackwell. Incredible.
Any kin to Michelle Blackwell?
No. They may be distant cousins, but but Dave Blackwell, to me, and I've worked with a lot of artists. I work with a lot of songwriters. He, to me, is hands down the best, or one of the best songwriters to me to ever grace this planet. The dude is just incredible. He has his own unit as well called Charles Road that I'm also a part of.
Oh, okay.
But he's been a long-time brother, friend of mine. Anything I do, he does. Anything he do, vice versa. So, yeah, we definitely are like a serious tag team duo. So that song, After the Revolution, was a song that we used to do in a previous band. And that song is basically sort of like the aftermath of Born Again. So it's like, what are we going to do after we won the victory? We still have to get our attitudes, get our minds straight. That song is also a song of hope as well.
Right.
And just knowing that, there's better and brighter days ahead with unity and persistent love and a commitment to that. Right. The second song is a song that I wrote, and that's me doing the vocals on. It's a song called Ghost of Anacostia. Mm-hmm. The native song sung on there is by a brother of the local indigenous Piscataway community. His name is Sebi Medina Tayak. And I did that song telling the history of the indigenous people of this region, the Anacostia. Just telling the story of what happened to them, and how, the Europeans came over and basically raided them, killed them, ran them off the land. There's a metaphor attached to that song, and
say some of the words, because off the air you was
okay.
You was kicking it, and I was like, wow.
Yeah,
we actually have an interview when the music playing.
An interview within an interview.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But
so the hook is, see, everybody's talking about those redskins, but they don't give a damn about them Anacosstians. Who bled then bled for the spirit of this land? Now we got to teach them about the shoulders where we stand. So we're walking on sacred ground every day of these people that preceded us, that pretty much gave their lives, you know.
Right.
We're walking, this is they blood, sweat, and tears on this land.
Yes, yes.
And we honor and we repay them by calling our team the Redskins. I ain't gonna get into that, but that's another story.
Right.
You know, for all you Redskins fans out there.
Yeah.
But
to get educated. That's
you know,
what I'm saying. Get a little education.
But that song is just telling the story about what happened to the indigenous community here in this area back in the 17th and 18th century. The Anacostia Native community was their means of survival was taking refuge with their cousins, the local Piscataway. Anybody that's familiar with the Piscataway, it's down near Accokeek, Indian Head, all of that. Yeah,
Straight out Branch 5.
Exactly.
Run right
exactly.
into it.
So the Piscataway are basically the Piscataway Nation is a makeup of different subgroups and sub-ethnic groups and things like that. And so I couldn't do a song about a group of people without first getting the blessing of the people.
Right.
And so, man, let me tell you how the divine works. So I had already put it out there in the universe that I needed to get the blessing of the people. Right. There's not much information about the story of the Anacostia. The original name is the Nakatank or Nakastine or Nakashtank. Okay. That's where the name Anacostia comes from. It comes from Nakatank or Nakastine.
What it mean? You know what
it means trade, traders, trading. People would come up and down the river from different groups, and they would trade with the Nakatank.
Yeah, we
and
just
so
talking about that river too.
Yeah, yeah. So it means like the trade, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know. And so I did a little research and got very little. Thank God for the museum, the Smithsonian Museum of the American Indian, because as soon as you come off the second floor, there's an exhibit right there on these people. Okay.
Wow.
And just an amazing exhibit. And so I got a lot of my information from that exhibit, and I wrote the song. And so, but I had to get the blessing of the people first. Right. So, you know, I'm trying to, who can I go to? Okay, there, you know, the Proctor family, you know, and shout out to, I want to give light to Mama Barbara Proctor, who just transitioned a few days ago. She was a big follower of Crank Lukongo, and, you know, of the Piscataway Nation. Okay. And I want to give light to her and much elevation to her spirit. But her grandson, Sebi, and I met through a mutual friend. Okay. And the friend said, yeah, I got this kid that I'm working with. He's Piscataway. He what? I need to meet him, you know. Right. So he set up the meeting, and I met the guy, and I told him about the idea of the song. And I told him, yeah, man, I got this information from the museum of blah, 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 blah. And he started laughing. He said, my mother curated that exhibit.
Yeah, that's funny. You know how the universe works.
He said,
in the world you could have
He said that was my. Him. He said that's my mother who curated that exhibit. His mother, Gabrielle Tyak. Okay. Wow. You know, so I was like, wow, man, that's crazy. It all just came, you know. Yeah. And so not only did they give me the blessing on it, he accepted the offer to come and do the native song or the native chant that you hear on there. What I go, you know. Right. And he's singing in Algonquian. He's basically saying, we give honor to the Nakatank people. You know, we give honor to the Anacostia. We give, you know, and he's just repeating that. So how that came together, it was like, you know, and then he and I became like solid brothers. His whole family, they pretty much adopted us into their family. They've invited us to you know, sweat lodges, they call them inipis, and just different ceremonies that they have with their people. You know, it's been a really good road, you know.
Wow.
But we wanted to, use that song to tell the story of the people that existed here before, prior to it all, you know.
Wow, and that's you know what I'm saying, and I mean, you just embarked on the beginning of a lesson for us as the people, you know what I'm saying? So, like me and brother been saying for all last year up until this year, if you people are not paying attention to this ongoing frequency that's turning into this shift. And if you don't pick up, if you're not awake to pick up on these frequencies of the changes of how, like he said, yeah, you hear about the young that's doing the bad, but then you always got these youngins, like I was speaking about, that's coming up, that's just gonna carry the baton on. Folks, it's a lot of energy. And this man just sat right here within this CD and gave us several life lessons that, you know, which you always hear me preach about, going back to the basics. And that's why I'm appreciative of this brother. And I wanted to say that, as you sat here and said, you did your research.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You even broke down, I didn't even know Anacostia was called anything else but Anacostia. Now I know it was called Anaka. You know, it was Anaki. Yeah, so, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting schooled here, folks. Don't sleep. I tell y'all all the time. But, and it's also so deserving when I can look across this table and see my brother give me education about us. It's just something, I don't know how you feel the energy in this room. Yeah, as we talked about these Indians, these indigenous people, and the spirits and the ancestors of these folks, even though they blessed you, you just blessed us to be able to share that with us. You passed on their blessing, and I feel it.
Yeah,
I feel it.
In this room.
That's why I call that a soundtrack. Cause Spike gonna call you, and we gonna do a movie about being born through what's the Anacostia, the triple tribal, the Nakatank. That's what the movie's gonna be called.
Ooh,
watch.
Okay.
Spike, got it. It's sent to you. I put it out there.
Holla.
That's right.
Holla.
Right here. Right here. So,
well,
don't sleep on this brother, and I'm sure it's so much more that you're gonna be bringing to the table. And with that being said, and you got so many projects. You say your album is going to be released. The second single is going to be released.
Yeah, I'm going to be releasing the second single soon. This is my first production ever.
Okay.
You know, I've been a musician for over 30 years. I'm usually that musician that you call for your gigs or for your recordings. Not one to ever kind of sit in the studio and put the Quincy Jones hat on and produce.
Right.
I got inspired to do this some years ago. I was, on tour with this reggae band, Bamboo Station from the Virgin Islands, and they had me traveling all over the globe. And I was the only one in the band, myself and another brother from D.C. Everybody else is from the islands, And so when I talk, these people from these other countries, they hear nothing. They say, where you from? Because they don't hear us talking like we from the Caribbean. Okay. So, where you from? And when you tell them D.C., because they don't associate this skin color, believe it or not. Even when we had a black man in the Oval Office, they didn't equate this with the nation's capital.
Oh, okay.
Nah. What they think and know is federal and and everything.
See, over there, you gotta realize the media controls what they see over there.
Well, you'd be surprised because it wasn't only over there. It's a lot of places, because I traveled a lot of places in the States too. The bottom line is that they're unaware that there's this black culture that exists here and is the dominant. They don't know that.
Right.
And so what I would do, sister, I would start to share stuff with them, just simple stuff about our culture. well, yeah, we like mambo sauce on our chicken.
But
this how we
and
walk,
I was going to
this
say
how
that
we
for you to
talk,
bring that up,
and, you know, these kind of things.
that's what I'm saying.
And these people are like, wow. This
Like the mayor, she spoke on, they got on her tail.
Exactly,
She didn't know what mumbo
exactly,
sauce was.
exactly.
Something that small. And just like something else you just said, you know, and I'm just going back to what we're speaking on, how it's being, even though they don't want to acknowledge it, it's like being forced out there. Just when they was trying to soundproof DC, you remember?
Yeah.
And then the guys that came through, who was it?
That was Kimon.
Kevin Beacon. He was in a band, and him and his
Okay.
brother was traveling through town with their band, is performing
Okay,
here.
okay.
And the guy that does, he also is advocate for one of the shelters. He sits out there and they play the buckets and the congos, and I mean the drums and stuff on the sidewalk.
Probably Malik. Malik, who's like my nephew, Malik. He was out there, part of that. I
Right,
think,
and Kevin Beacon had stopped
Kevin.
by, and they did a little ensemble with
Yeah.
those gentlemen.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what I'm saying. Even if it's not, if people that try to hush us, and it's this type of music, go R&B, anything that's DC bass driven, you cannot sound it, you cannot squash it, because it's a thrive, it's a life energy of its own.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I was sharing with the people. And when they wanted, you know, because these people, they are followers of the band that I was with, which is a reggae band, which, you know, most of the content that comes out of roots reggae is spiritual, revolutionary, social kind of driven,
Right.
Pan-African driven. And so these people are followers of music with those types of things. And when they wanted me to let them hear examples of go-go, you know, I'm like looking through YouTube. I'm like, shit, I gotta find some, you know. And I like every go-go band. I like all of the songs. I mean, I like everything. I'm a big go-go advocate. But I couldn't really find much that I could let them listen to, because I don't know, maybe it was me, because I wanted them to hear something that contained similar type of, you know, substance, you know, in terms of lyrics or content, you know.
Right.
And go-go is pretty much predominantly like party music and celebratory type of music, you know. And I had a few songs that I could find.
I'm
but
curious, okay. And what was those songs that you chose to let
the
them
songs
listen?
that I found were songs, the majority of them were all songs from 30 plus years ago. So the Go-Go Posse, DC Don't Start, stands for Dodge City, Junkyard, The Word, Chuck Brown Be Bumpin' Fresh, which is about, you know, Love Boat and all, putting that down. Backs Up Against the Wall, R.E., Trouble Funk. They did, God, why can't I? Anyway, but it was a few.
Those are the essence
There's
of
a few.
the ingredients. Okay.
But in terms of the contemporary stuff, you know, I don't, and maybe it's just because I'm not as up on the contemporary stuff as I should be.
Right.
But I couldn't really find much of the contemporary stuff online to let the people hear.
Oh,
And so the light bulb went off, ding, and I said, oh, Spirit spoke to me and said, yo, when you get back to the States, yeah, start working on something
Seeing a market
where
right
you
there.
can tell your story, because these people over here are interested, and not that I'm not interested in marketing to my local community,
Right.
but my main target starting out was the global community.
Right.
Because I want to do, you know, I want to, you know, a guy like me growing up, I ain't read a lot of books growing up.
Right.
Books didn't come
Well,
until
let-
later.
let
Books
me-
didn't come till later. Hold on.
Right,
Books didn't come till later. I was listening to a lot of music later on, Bob Marley and Fela Kuti. And the Bob Marleys and the Fela Kutis was sending me to the library, because I wanted to know a little bit more about what was going on in so-called third world
then
countries
back then
and all.
we had that internet. We had
Right.
the
We had,
thing
yeah.
called the internet.
So I was
We had the
reading.
library.
So when I was going and,
Yeah, I'm
and,
trying
and
to go get a book.
I was going and I was just reading these books and furthering my knowledge about what was going on with these cultures in these countries. And so I thought about, wouldn't it be nice if we could start a movement that could have that same impact on the global community as did they had and have on us.
Right.
And so that's why I call this music, we call it Afro Go-Go Roots. So it's not go-go. We're not a go-go band, but we play.
But you can hear something in there. On
The
certain
go-go is
songs.
the foundation of
Right.
it. The go-go is the foundation of it all. But our genre is Afro go-go roots.
Okay.
And that's because out of respect for go-go.
Correct.
Because first of all, we wouldn't survive. I don't think we'd survive just being a go-go band. We wouldn't survive. No, we wouldn't survive because the go-go community would tear us apart.
And
they would tear us apart.
and the ones
they
that-
would tear us apart, man.
And the ones that's current it now, they done regrouped and got back at it and remixed it, and they still current it.
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
stuff that we grew up on.
Yeah.
It's still keeping them going.
Right.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
And what you said earlier,
Yep.
what he was saying, what I got out of it, go-go community, get some more songs with substance as far as what's going on with your people. When you said that, I thought about something I wrote, you can't call it Chocolate City no more. They took them keys and opened up the door. That's just part of it. But I got stuff like that, but there's some kind of content of what's going on with that gentrification.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm
Exactly.
saying? There's a lot of stuff happening that you can put that beat behind.
Exactly. Well, that's all I know.
Right.
That's all I know, and I just know that, like, if I were to try to market to the go-go community, I don't know. People say, "Oh, you shouldn't say that, man. You shouldn't say that, or don't underestimate the go-go community because." And I don't, because I love go-go and I love even the cover songs. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, they should stop playing cover songs or they should don't. I like when they do the cover song. I like it all.
I
love the cover
song
The
better.
cover
They
song.
do. Right.
Go-go musicians will make a cover song. They would play it better than the original artist.
Yes,
They
it
did.
would.
What they will also do, play it better than the artist, but then they put their twist
They
on
put
it
it
and make a whole new song
man.
out
So
of it.
I
A whole
personally,
new song.
me personally, I like that, and I played in bands that have played strictly covers. So I am not against that. I say keep doing what you're doing. I just wanted to do something, different from that the spirit called.
But
called
that's
me to do.
okay. Nothing wrong
you
with
know.
that. Everybody got, what they want to do. Everybody can't actually do the same thing. But
Mm-hmm.
also, you created something new. And see, what I tell people about Gore-Tex is like, you got to start your own, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to jump in, like somebody can get a go-go band and jump. So you get this new go-go band and you jump into that hole. You already got the Trouble Funk. You got
That's what I'm
hundreds
saying.
of bands
That's what I'm
way
saying.
before you.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? So it's going to be harder.
It's gonna be harder, and if you ain't got that crank,
Right.
they gonna
So
they
now-
gonna be hard.
Yes,
Start
they will.
your own Gore-Tex
They
and,
will.
and
They
build all
very
that.
hard.
It might not be what that is right there per se right now, but you never know. It's
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah.
And you in your own lane. So
Yeah.
hey,
Well, it's been a blessing so far because we've been getting love, in a lot of different
it's a
countries.
group I can't think the name of. It's like a reggae. They played with Chuck Brown down the 930 Club. And Mickey played the Congos.
Soldier.
Yeah, I
yeah.
love them. They crank, but they was in Hawaii hitting go-go, and I was like, man.
So the reggae band
You
that
understand what I'm saying?
the
The
reggae
go-go
band that I
band's
played,
here.
the reggae band
Ain't
that
doing that.
the reggae band that I played with, Bamboo Station, we were on tour with Soldier in Peru, Lima, Peru, in South America.
You hear that? Say that again.
And in Lima, Peru, in
That's
South
right.
America. And we did a show, and and I respect those brothers. I mean, they're the all white reggae band, and and I know the drummer, and I respect what they do and everything. It's just that when I was there when we did the show, it was a couple of bands that performed. It was like 6,000 people.
Okay.
And it's actually on YouTube too. You can find it. But they went on after us because of course they're the headliner.
right.
Of course you can't, and I don't want to sound bitter, but you can't be a black reggae band headlining over top of a white reggae band. That's just the state of where it is right now, and I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Right.
But that's no disrespect to these brothers, But
Right.
Soldier, they're from Arlington, Virginia.
Right.
And they're good group of guys, good band as well. And they did a recording, a go-go recording. I think Mickey played on it, and so we were in Lima, Peru, and they cut into that song, you know, and they had their guy who was playing the congas on it or whatever, but it was in that go-go style, you know.
Oh, they can't do it like
and I looked out in the audience and I saw 6,000 people going nuts.
I think I seen that clip, but the whole
6,000
point
people
of the
going
matter,
nuts.
yeah, the whole point of the matter is like, okay, they do what they do the way they do it, but they can't do it like we do it. But I'm talking about far as you taking the music that created and started here abroad and introduced it to people never heard it before.
Well, I mean, Trouble Funks did it. Then Browns did it. You know, I mean, they've gone to Japan and England, and you know, they've had some success overseas, and then what you have with Team Familiar and Backyard going to Africa, and so, you know, I'm really happy that
it's still being done.
You know,
it's still being done, right?
My personal thing, I would, you know, if I had to say anything to the go-go community, if it's being critical, I would say to the go-go community, you know, hey man, why don't y'all just like really come together and unify? Stop bashing each other.
Wow.
Stop. You know,
it.
I mean, we, you know, and especially people in our generation, because
it's enough food for everybody to eat. You know what I'm saying?
We 50 plus. You know, and
it's enough food for us to eat. Like I tell them all the time. I say it all the time. I ain't mean to cut you off.
No,
I say it all the time. You know, when he gives you a talent, you cannot be selfish and set on it, which is true. But don't go out here and take your talent, your gift that God gives you. God, Yah, whoever you follow, is all one person, same person. But don't take that and go out here, because like I said, he gave all of us that has those lights inside of us that shine, that he put in these positions to shine.
Shine your
light. Trust
light.
me, it's enough stage he made for every light that he created. Right. Trust me, it's a stage big enough for all of us. So I agree with you 100%.
But you know, a lot of people feel that in order to shine their own light, they got to put somebody else's out.
And that's terrible.
And that's what we doing in the go-go community. And that's all I'm saying is like, you know, and look, if we don't embrace each other now, trust and believe, we won't be the ones. Because in my vision, what I see in the future with the state of go-go, the largest, it ain't gonna look like this.
Right.
It ain't gonna look.
No.
And you could look at every genre of music that comes out of the diaspora: blues, rap, reggae, jazz. I mean, you know, the list, rock and roll. The list goes on and on and on and on. And I'm not saying that no one is entitled to it.
No, but they're gonna.
But what I'm saying is that it's to the point where, you know, the indigenous people of that particular genre of music, we no longer have a say. We no longer are not reaping the benefits of this. You know, that's the reason. One of the reasons why there's a song on this album called "You Need Love." There's a song by Led Zeppelin called "Whole Lotta Love." It's a real famous rock song by the rock group Led Zeppelin. Want a whole lot of love? Do 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 do. Well, whether you heard it or not.
Right.
Okay. Well, Led Zeppelin, come to find out, stole that song from Muddy Waters.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And made trillions, well, not trillions, but millions and millions of dollars off of this song.
And that was doing a lot back then.
And Muddy Waters didn't see any of that money. Matter of fact, they didn't even credit the song to him, right? But Led Zeppelin, you know, made millions.
That's what they do, man.
And so what we did with this song, we just took it back.
Right.
We just took it back.
And I was going to say, and the same thing Eric Clapton did for Muddy. He gave him his respect back, and you remember Eric Clapton?
Yeah.
He redid a lot of Muddy Waters.
He redid Bob Marley's "I Shot the Sheriff" and made a ton of money off of that as well.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that, you know, we have to be unified in the go-go community. We have to really stop trying to knock other people down. You know, I don't even go on some of these. I stay off of these
sites.
posts. I stay off because they'll chop you up. I got brothers who I consider to be like good friends of mine. Chop me up. And all I did was ask a question. I didn't even, there was no, I just asked a question.
Right.
And they chopped me up. So I stay away from that. But I think if we can learn to really just, you know, support each other a little more.
It can be bigger than what we really are now.
And I'm a basketball player. I believe in throwing alley hoops.
Mm-hmm.
I can shoot, I can score, but guess what? If my man Ghost over here, I know he can shoot and score too. Guess what? Hey Ghost, cut around the side, and I'm gonna throw you an alley hoop so you can get your shine too. So as a team, as a culture, as a unit, we're all shining, and I think that's kind of what's needed.
It is,
you know,
it
with
is,
that.
and it's you know, and like you know, it's like they turn a fear into competitiveness, and fear has no space or room in none of this business. You know what I'm saying? Because like I just said before, and I'm gonna say it again, God gives you a talent, which is a light that beams inside of you. Trust me, he made a stage big enough for everybody to shine their light. So stop being so competitive and so afraid and let that fear of that force to tell you, I can't let that brother do one step in front of me. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's all it is. It's just fear. Let it go. Because you never know. If you let that one brother take that one step, God or y'all probably give you 3.
Yeah, he opened up the door.
You know what I'm saying? So hit that and keep that, you know, what we said. So back to Mr. Swamp here. So up for 2019, what we got coming out?
Well, I'm planning on doing more shows. I'm actually in the studio right now, getting ready to put out the next album. So we're going to keep the music coming, but we're going to start doing some shows. We also have a different component of Crank Lukongo, which is the Crank Lukongo Unplugged. So Crank Lukongo Unplugged is basically just a strip down. It's the acoustic guitar, and it's me on percussion. We're doing these songs, but in that form.
Okay.
You know, because
something like what would they call it? Unsung. When they used to have people come up on Saturdays, used to be a show on TV, and they bring the acoustic guitar. They take their regular songs and sing them, but
I think it was like
It's
unplugged.
Unplugged.
Yeah, it was
That's what it is. Unplugged.
Yeah.
So we got a gig. We have a show coming up on May the 4th at the Kingman Island Bluegrass and Folk Festival.
okay,
Wow.
that would be nice
So
then.
that just shows you. I mean,
The
we're
mixture.
pretty diverse.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be at the
Bluegrass.
We'll
with
be at the Kingman
folk.
Island Bluegrass and Folk Festival because the unplugged version is folk. We've done we just did a show at the Carnegie, our unplugged. So we're gonna continue to do that.
Right.
Oftentimes enough, I get calls to do shows. You know, sometimes people may not have the budget to pay a 13-piece band.
Right.
So the budget they have can only, you know.
So let me ask you this:
Can afford
so
a two-piece.
you have a promoter, or how do you get most of your gigs? Because, like I said, you got hundreds of go-go bands, and they don't get outside the DMV. And the reason why they do a lot of stuff they do because they don't have a vision to see. And so what you did was, you didn't just jump into the go-go, even though you said that's the you grew up on it and that was your roots, and you started your own. Right. So now, you played all around the world, basically. So how do you get most of your gigs, or you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you. You know, all of this is still kind of new to me. I've never been in the forefront. I've never been the leader.
Right.
You know,
Remember
I've never
saying that
been.
earlier.
You know, so this is all new to me. You know, and so it's still a work in progress right now. So I'm still putting pieces together. You know, I got the music out. I'm still working this album, but now I'm also building the next project. I'm more so, cause see the thing with this project, I had no intention on playing live music. I just wanted to put an album out.
Okay.
I didn't want to put a band together.
And it basically,
Because I know I'm a musician myself. I know how
Right.
tough it is to get guys to commit to play, and you got to have certain dollars in, you know. And so I know unless I have a certain budget, it ain't gonna work. Because I'm that way. Yo, what's your minimum? Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta take my daughter somewhere that day. I can't do the gig. So I
Right.
understand. So I had no intention on playing live. It didn't come until people started hearing the music and they started, oh man, I love to hear this live and da 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 da, you know. So we did a couple of live shows. We did 1 or 2 live shows, And so, you know, I kind of got a little loose with it, and I'm like,
Got
okay,
bit with that bug.
yeah, we could do this, you know.
Okay.
So, my plan is to just continue to work my angles, and when the opportunity presents itself, we'll make it happen. Y'all will be the first to know.
Okay, you heard that, right, 2GO?
Y'all will be the first to know.
We'll be the first to know. So that's May the
4th.
May the 4th.
Kingman Island
Bluegrass
and Folk Festival.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
and-
that's May the 4th, 2019.
Yeah, and then we'll work on doing some shows in the summer. I don't want to do a lot of shows.
Okay.
I would rather do. I don't want to do a lot of shows in the DMV area. I'd rather do, you know, a show in the DMV area once, because you know you want people to really want to come out and see you.
Right.
You know.
I got you.
So if you missed us the last time,
You gotta wait till
you
come
gotta
back
wait.
around.
So you got, you know, you might want to catch us when we come. It's just like any other group that
Right.
goes on tour.
You give them
you
that
know.
taste and make
So-
them thrive for the rest of the return.
Exactly, for the return. So I'm kind of just trying to plug into some different areas outside of the DMV.
Okay.
And then we'll come back probably in the summertime and do something.
Okay.
You know.
So, and with that being said, like you said, we'll be the first to know.
Yep.
So that means we got to look forward to him coming back during the summer.
Oh, I'll
So
come
give
back
us an
anytime.
update on what's going on with this this new music. It's the
Afro
Afro
Roots.
Go-Go Roots. That's what it's called. It's gonna be the class of itself. Afro Go-Go Roots. So y'all better get y'all antennas up, cause you gonna miss it if you don't hear it. You know, that's Afro Go-Go Roots.
Afro Go-Go Roots.
Afro
And if-
Go-Go Roots.
If anybody's interested in learning a little bit more about us, or if they want to purchase the music via download or whatever, they can go to our website. And the website is www.cranklukongo.com. So that's CrankLukongo.com, Lukongo. And they can go there and they could, we're on all of the music outlets, Spotify, iTunes, all of that stuff. So you can find us on there.
Okay, and also for the you also do performance artist and arts consultant. That part of your hat. That part of your other side of your everything else you're doing right
Yeah, I
here.
still do that as well. People call me up and they, you know, they're looking for a specific venue, or they're looking for an artist that's coming to town, may need a band. So like, for example, there's an artist that's potentially going to be coming to DC next month, and he needs a band. So they call
cater
me,
to all
and
those
I'll
things.
put the band together for him, and then they can do the show like that.
The
you know,
man
so-
is never stop, won't stop. Like we just gonna keep on doing this thing in our 50s, y'all. So we the new 50s. Don't sleep. Cause we really 20 something. It's just just the signs say 50.
Yeah.
But we really in our 20s in our spirits.
Yeah.
But with that being said, you heard the brother say he got another hat. If you need venues, if you need consultation on your artist, you know, you can just give him a Gmail, and that's at swampmatt@gmail.com. That's swampmatt@gmail.com. If you would like to get his services on that end of the deal, and look what you will get. So brilliant, so talented. We done sat here and we done talked this into a soundtrack. Spike! All right? I ain't letting that go. So we done talked this into a soundtrack, and it's going to be the birth of the Anacostia word?
Nakatank.
Nakatank. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that before it's all over with. Nakatank. That's what this movie going to be called. So, Spike, we wait for the script, okay? So, if you take too long, we going to forward one to you, because I know you just got that. You just finally got you one. So, we going to help you get another one, okay?
And when he went and got it, right, first thing I noticed, he had on all that purple.
Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
he did.
Royalty.
Yes, he did.
That's royalty, man.
Yes, it was a long time for the brother. You know, you know, Spike work, you know, I follow some of it, but, you know, as far as him as the creator that he is, you know, he deserved that.
Yeah, he honored his
He did. He really did.
ancestors.
Yeah, he really did deserve that. And
from his
Yep.
great grandmother all the way up.
Yes, he did. Yes,
Yep.
he did. And he stayed him. He didn't let Hollywood change him. He stayed in his own. I hated his movies when he looked like he following the people walking down the street.
Oh, well, that's his thing. That's his
I know, but that's his
trademark.
signature, right?
Do the right
But
thing.
yeah,
in
in
every
all
movie.
his movies, he
Yeah,
do that.
Go Better Blues.
Yeah, all of
them.
them. He like he
Go
following. Yeah,
He's supposed to be walking.
Yeah,
like
but
he gliding
yeah,
down.
yeah, like he Mars on the bike following him with the camera. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, I just wanted to give shout out to because we want this deal for Mr. Swamp here. We want you to call us. Call him like we just gave you, swampmatt@gmail.com, Spike. We got the soundtrack already. He's already spoken on a part 2, which will be an additional soundtrack, which will be just some instrumentals.
Now,
So
I can't do this if y'all ain't, if y'all not going to be in
We'll
with
be a
us.
part.
we'll be a part of
yeah,
premiere and make sure the word get out of the
You
street.
more than the
No,
premiere.
yeah.
You got to be
We a
an
team
active
here.
body in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
That'll work. That'll
Yeah,
work.
Okay.
I want you to come play some drums on
That'll
on,
work.
on,
That'll
on
work.
a
That'll
couple
work.
of tracks, man.
That'll work.
And
Right
that's
now-
coming. I need that voice, you know.
Whatever you need, we'll be there. We'll be there. Like you said, network. And it's no I in team because team makes the dream work all the time. And that's what we got to do now. We got to start opening up doors and paths. Even if you get through a door and you really don't want to help nobody else, just kind of like actually leave it crap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, show some type of humbleness and appreciative of what God is doing for you. So, and that's the only way you're going to keep it going. You're going to have to help someone else. You know what I'm saying? So, you want to say something else?
Yeah, I do want. I do want to say to the people that's listening, this is one of the most progressive, talk shows that I've been on thus far. I've been on
Wow.
quite a few, and they all have their own different identity, But this is very progressive because the atmosphere that they create in this room is so much in alignment with who and what I strive to be as a person. Spiritually,
thank you.
I mean, they got the incense burning in here, the candle, the altar, Siddhartha. Yeah, they burning sage to clear the energy. I mean, she's got the crystals, the stones, the gems. I mean, this is, the Sphinx.
Yeah, that's what
People,
we're about,
this
man.
is how
This is our trueness.
all of the
right
people
here.
that's listening that have been in my apartment, they can tell you
This is
this
what
what it looks like.
Yeah.
They tell me that my apartment is like a little mini museum, So, but no, I just want to say
Y'all need
that,
to go over each other's house because he's the same way.
okay, yeah.
Yes,
so I
indeedy.
just want to say,
Thank you.
keep
you.
doing the work that y'all are doing. Y'all are being legendary up in here. Keep doing what y'all are doing,
Appreciate that.
and
Thank
keep this energy going because this is also something that our community needs
This
as
is
well.
the awakening.
You know.
It's
It is.
coming.
Yeah.
They say when what it say?
When the students are ready, the teachers will come.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
this is just a good feel. I do want to give another shout out to my good brother Diallo. Diallo is like my public relations guy. Diallo is the one. He's like the guy that I consult for everything, and we fight a lot too. We go at it, man, because some
Okay.
things he agrees on, and some things I don't.
Matala.
So we go at it all the time. But that brother, I've
That's
known.
the yang to your yin.
Yeah, I've known that brother since I was 13, 14, man, and he knows this thing, and he's just a good-hearted brother. And Diallo, he does all of my flyers and all. He does flyers for everybody. So people, please, if you want services with flyers, get at Diallo. You can find him on his Facebook page. He's at Diallo Rockman, Diallo Rahman.
Diallo Rockman on Facebook.
Diallo Rockman, yeah. So that brother, he's doing the work, and I think he's a big reason why we've even made it this far. He's a part of Crank Blue Congo, and
Yeah, you need a team.
yeah,
can't
you
do
got to
it
have
by
a team. And
yourself.
so
Like
I
I
have,
just said, there's no
yeah,
I in
and
team,
so
and
that's-
without teamwork, that's how the dream works. But like I said, thank you, Swamp, for coming in and sharing your journey, your story, and getting personal. Like Lauren said, we was doing interviews inside an interview when we was on our music break. We appreciate you, and
Thank
like
you,
I said,
thank
you
you.
are ongoing, you're a growing legend, and this is only the beginning. Crank Lucando is just the
Crank
beginning.
Lucando.
It's only the beginning, and like I said, and he's teaching us about us people. So
I learned
please
things
continue
about
to
you.
follow this brother because I'm telling you, I just got so educated today. It's like he done opened up several volumes of our new roots. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, Alex, but we got the new roots going on right here. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in. And Brother Lance, you want to say something to the people before we end?
Just one thing. We talk about it next week. We got the 40th anniversary coming up. Me, Go Billy, and Briscoe.
Go Billy!
And you know, y'all just stay tuned. We got the tickets. You know, that's coming up. It's, so you can go ahead.
All righty. So with that being said, one love, one thug, and like I always say, don't sleep, 'cause